HDAX Therapeutics is actually a small molecule drug discovery startup. It's actually coming out of Dr. Patrick Gunning's lab at U of T. Incredibly talented and diverse group that's working on developing targeted therapeutics for brain diseases with unmet clinical needs. So without further ado, I will hand it over to Nabanita from HDAX.
Hi, everyone. Nabanita from HDAX Therapeutics. I'm just trying to share my screen. I hope I'm sharing the right one. So at HDAX, we design targeted therapeutics for brain diseases. It's okay. Imagine this. You're perfectly healthy in your early 40s, and all of a sudden you start having severe headaches and memory loss. It's your worst nightmare. The doctor has diagnosed you with brain cancer. They said there's a 35% 5-year survival chance. But here's the catch. It'll cost you almost $200,000 a year, which you cannot afford. So, within a year of diagnosis, you've surrendered to the world's third leading cause of cancer death. That's the story of my late Aunt Shanaz, one of the dearest to my heart, who passed away in 2017 from brain cancer. But sadly, that's not a unique story at all. In fact, there's more than 330,000 new brain cancer patients every year, and similar to my aunt, majority cannot afford this extremely expensive treatment. For those who receive the treatment, the survival rate is actually very, very poor. And for those who manage to beat the odds, only one fourth still relapse. But perhaps the most troubling part out of all of this is that to this day, we don't have a single rationally designed therapy that's effective, that's safe, and that's brain permeable for brain diseases like brain cancers. This means that everything we use for treatment is simply borrowed from other cancers. Luckily, there's a way to intervene and stop these diseases in the brain, and that is by targeting a disease driver protein called HDAX6. HDAX6 is a validated target in brain cancers and also in neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's and Huntington's disease, where its overexpression and its hyperactivity are prevalent. But targeting HDAX6 in the brain is actually not so easy. With more than 20 clinical trials trying to target HDAX6, it is a highly clinically relevant target to go after. But these so-called HDAX6 selective molecules are yet to be approved since they suffer from their own set of challenges in the clinics. And with no clear frontrunner yet, HDAX has the potential to be the best in class. These challenges include challenges of insufficient efficacy, challenges with safety and tolerability, and challenges with getting into the brain and having a decent pharmacokinetic profile. You're looking at low efficacy from poor target engagement with the disease driver protein at the molecular level. The safety and tolerability concerns in patients from pan-HDAC inhibition induces toxicity and limits the approved drugs as salvage cancer therapies only. And lastly, you're suffering from a lack of brain permeability and drug stability, meaning that big doses and frequent doses are required, leading to more safety concerns in patients. And that's really why there is no clear frontrunner in this space for brain pathologies. We see the opportunity to be the first truly selective, potent, non-genotoxic, and brain-permeable HDAX6 inhibitor. At HDAX, we have a solution to not just one, but in fact all of these challenges. Our potency is 10 times stronger than all the leading competitors. We do this through this unique patented mechanism of action of targeting this disease driver protein, where we essentially hold the target with both hands, while everyone else can only hold the target with just one hand. This allows us to form a much tighter interaction. Our drug candidates possess greater than 50% brain penetration, while competitors are just about 10%. This achievement is actually quite a rarity in the space, making our molecules one of the very few assets that have been designed to be able to enter the brain without the aid of an additional drug delivery system. Our molecules are able to reach the brain quickly and effectively, allowing us to target the disease at its root. And finally, we have 800-fold selectivity for the target, while the most advanced clinical candidate is just 6-fold. Almost 6 years of drug refinement has allowed us to reach this superb selectivity. And this has translated into higher safety in animals because of the reduction of adverse effects due to off target interactions. And this has tremendous potential to translate well into increased safety in patients. Looking at the competitive landscape of HDAC inhibitors, on the bottom left, we have the FDA approved drugs that mostly focus on blood cancer due to their low safety and no brain penetration. The current clinical candidates are still focusing on cancer, but with an enhanced safety profile and have not been optimized enough to cross the blood brain barrier. Our next generation of HDAC6 inhibitors show lower off target profiles than the drugs and the drug candidates and can actually cross the blood brain barrier, transforming this technology for brain pathologies. The markets we aim to tap have a market size of 2.5 billion. Although brain cancers have approved drugs, these are just borrowed from other diseases and have not been rationally designed to get into the brain. Thus, there is a huge unmet need to design better drugs specifically for diseases of the brain. HDAX Therapeutics is developing multiple HDAC based assets to tackle brain and also peripheral indications. The first market we aim to tap is in neuro-oncology, where our assets are the most advanced, followed by our other assets in the pipeline, which are focused on neurodegenerative disorders and also non-CNS cancers. Our technology is fully developed by this team of experts in Dr. Patrick Gunning's lab at the University of Toronto, a lab that has spun out 4 successful startups since 2017. We have a diverse skill set in drug discovery, business development, and also serial entrepreneurship. We're passionate, we're entrepreneurial, we work very well together, and we're very, very driven to advance our inventions to help patients. I bring 8 years of experience in drug discovery, leadership, and scientific policy, and have helped to develop this breakthrough technology from just an idea. Coupling our team with our advisors, who are brain surgeons, oncologists, and seasoned entrepreneurs, we believe that we're on track to take this technology to the clinics. Over the last 5 years, we have built our technology from just an idea to several lead candidates. And after more than 600 molecules with unique drug like properties, we have a PCT stage patent fully assigned out of the university and 2 new IP that's been disclosed to the university. Since company inception in August 2021, we've won like 5 pitch competitions and also received some investment and partnership opportunities. We're evaluating those opportunities to secure the right deal and the right partner to help patients quickly while maintaining our vision for the company. Currently, we're looking to secure our first investment in and around Q1 2022 to reach clinical candidate nomination for neuro-oncology in the next 18 months. Over 2.5 million in academic grants and awards were utilized to advance the R&D behind our company. Next, 3 million is required for clinical candidate nomination in brain cancers, and some of the capital will feed the therapeutic pipeline for neurodegenerative diseases and peripheral cancers through lead optimization. This will be followed by Series A and Series B investments for IND-enabling studies and phase 1 clinical trials. Preclinical stage biopharma are highly sought after, especially in oncology and neurology, with an average of 4 years to exit for investors. And HDAC6 based ventures are highly sought after. 4 years ago, Acetalon, an HDAC6 platform, was acquired for 100 million for blood cancers, and they weren't differentiated enough to get into the brain. Last year, in 2019, Rodent Therapeutics, another HDAC company, was acquired for close to $1 billion, almost a tenfold jump, despite its unselective nature. And both these companies were in preclinical phases just like us. Although M&A is an exciting avenue, we're also capable to take our molecule to phase 1 clinical trials ourselves with the help of our clinician advisors. We also recognize the opportunities of potential M&A and licensing at the appropriate stages, and we aim to secure the right partners to advance this technology towards patients while maintaining our developmental vision. At HDAX, we're developing the next generation of HDAC6 inhibitors to improve safety, to improve efficacy, and to improve brain penetration. We've gone far too long borrowing treatments from here and there, so we've spent the last 6 years rationally designing drugs that target HDAC6 in the brain for patients who need it the most. Ladies and gentlemen, We're HDAX Therapeutics, and we're going to revolutionize brain disease treatment. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much for this presentation, Abhinita. I'll kick things off with the first question. Can you elaborate on the IP status?
Yeah, absolutely. So our first IP, which covers our unique mechanism of action, the two-hand versus one-hand analogy I mentioned, that is actually in the PCT stage. It's fully assigned out of the university to a numbered corporation. We have two new IP, one that covers our brain permeable assets and the other one covers a unique degradation technology. It's been disclosed to the university, and we've also received a term sheet for exclusive licensing of those IPs. And at the moment, we're negotiating with the university to secure the best deal for both the parties.
Thank you. The next question through the chat, which essay studies are still required for candidate nomination? For example, what is missing from the package?
So we do require a little more advanced animal brain xenograph studies. We do have some xenograph like efficacy data in animals. So I mean a murine melanoma model and also in a multiple myeloma xenograph model where we've been effectively able to show tumor reduction and also enhanced immune response, anti-tumor immune responses. But the next step would be to get more brain efficacy data, not just in cellular and in primary patient samples, but also in animals.
Thank you. Another question, why do you think your team is the right team for this technology and opportunity?
Well, we're very passionate with the problem-solving mindset, and we've built this from just an idea for the last 5 to 6 years with the goal to take this to patients and help with these unmet needs. And we do have a lot of mentors and resources to help us. This is the fifth startup out of Dr. Patrick Gunning's lab, and the last ones have gone through M&A to IPO to strategic partnerships. So we do come with a wealth of resources to guide us through our entrepreneurial journey, even though majority of the team is first-time founders. And we've made quite a few strides in just a couple of months of like a company formation. We've won around 5 pitch competitions. We have received 3 investment and partnership opportunities, and we're already engaging with a possible strategic partners for long-term M&A, even though we are at a very early preclinical stage.
Okay, next question. Do you believe that your drug will show success beyond lymphomas and multiple myeloma, where others have failed outside of this area?
Yeah, absolutely. And the biggest reason people have failed outside of these areas, well, there's two really big reasons, and that's one has to do with safety, another has to do with actually getting into the brain. Safety has been a huge concern with the unselective HDAC inhibitors, who aren't really our direct competitors. And since they can only be used in relapsed cancer patients because of the toxicology profile, they cannot selectively target their disease driving protein. What we've been able to show is 800-fold selectivity. So we can really target only the disease driver while not touching anything else in the body, which allows us to finally tap into other pathologies and not just relapse cancer patients. And secondly, and very, very importantly, we can actually get into the brain. We've been able to show it in pharmacokinetic studies in animals that we get into the brain effectively and very, very quickly. And none of the clinical candidates have been able to do that. And obviously, the approved drugs have not. So they've never even tried to explore brain diseases. But the industry is picking up and the traction is going towards brain diseases like brain oncology and also in neurodegenerative disorders where there is so much preclinical validation that HDAX6 is a therapeutic target to go after, but there's just not HDAX6 drugs that are good enough to do this.
Okay, last question from Juliana. What is your strategy for targeting different indications within neuro? Are you concerned about the potential off-label within different indications with the same target?
Yeah, absolutely. So, although at this current time we are working specifically as a small startup, our target is HDAC6. We have different ways of inhibiting HDAC6, such as reversible inhibition and also degradation technology. We are looking at the different indications where HDAC6 is highly relevant, or like in brain cancers. We work with Dr. Sheila Singh, evaluating our molecules in medulloblastoma, in glioblastoma, in brain mets, in neuroblastoma to pick the right indication that would be the most appropriate for our first go-to-market strategy. And for our neurodegeneration, we are looking for neurodegenerative experts to help us to help guide us through our neurodegeneration journey. Other than that, we do have assets in the lab and also in the company where we're looking at other targets. They are not as advanced to be funneled into the pipeline of the company yet, but we have dual inhibitors and targeted other proteins in the HDAC family and beyond that with adequate funding and as we go on with clinical candidate nomination for our first go-to-market strategy, we do want to utilize our resources for these other assets.
Actually, one more question we'll take. What is your plan for an exit and how will you structure funding? Is it for equity? Is it convertible notes?
Well, I guess at the current time, exit is not in mind. We do believe that we are the team to take this through at least phase one ourselves. We do have the clinicians to help us out, and we are the fifth startup out of this lab. So we do have the resources to guide us. But we are open to strategic partnership and M&As. And I guess at the current time, we've already started engaging with possible big pharma and strategic partners to take this to the long haul.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for this presentation, Avenida. That was awesome.